Hello and welcome back to Bump Love. Now, social media can be such source of drama and viral content. In July this year, a particular video, now dubbed the McDonald's baby mama, went viral. A mom was complaining and wanted to expose her ex, maybe husband or ex-boyfriend or I don't know, who had a child with her. And because now she had 3 children, she was exposing him for the fact that whenever he comes to visit with food, he only comes with food for 1 child, his child. And his argument was, the other 3 children are not my children, why should I have to care for them? Well, the mom's argument was, I can't be feeding 1 child McDonald's and the others are eating food stamps. So, ladies, the baby mama drama now became a baby daddy drama.
Yeah.
You guys have watched the video.
Yes, we have.
Yeah. What were your thoughts?
My only problem really, like on the woman's side, was her trying to expose the child, the father of her child, which for me I've always had a problem with, which always happens in settings where parents are either co-parenting or are not living together or are no longer together, and then the parents they're emotional over their own issues, and then they bring it into the lives of the children, and then they forget what they should or should not do. Can you ever, whatever Mr. Mlondo does, can you ever go and hang his dirty laundry in public, take a video and do this? So for me, to be honest with you, that's what took me back. But otherwise, if I go to the meat of what was being talked about, I'm like, first of all, why is baby daddy coming to your home? That's the problem I always ask parents, like who are co-parenting. The point of pickup or drop-off should never be at the home, and they should never visit there. If it's going to be pickup, maybe. But even that one, I have problems with. But if at the very least, do not visit your child back in the home of the baby mama. You had the child, if you're not together, for 2 main reasons. Number 1, if it happened once, it can happen again. You're going to find yourself in a trap again and get another baby. Number 2, if there are if there are other children in the home, then the vibe is that now you're coming, it's like VD, and then it's like a boarding school, where now each one with their father comes to visit, which would not be a problem. But the bigger problem comes where there might be a child in that home whose father never visits, whose father is not present, whose father abandoned them. And then they'll always have those ill feelings of Emma, of yours, the other child, they take care of them. So whatever you do, yes, the woman, the children are her responsibility. But the parents should be able to protect the other children in the home from the sight of what could be, of the differences, of the inequality that are within the family dynamic. Pick your child if you have to go to the home, take them away, do with them and everything, and while you're there, teach humility so that that child does not come back to the home and start jazzing.
My father comes every
my
week.
father did for me. McDonald's, as we ate this, you guys, what did you eat? What? Because she's saying that these kids are on food stamps. In America, that means that they're on some sort of government assistance, meaning they're not well off. And this one is bringing McDonald's. So maybe...
Which is also affordable.
Which is affordable there. But honestly, I don't understand how a parent can come in with food and bring for just one child.
For me, I think we can all agree that the problem is with the woman. For starters.
No, I can't agree with
coming from the video. You
all agree.
Exactly.
Not all.
It's okay. For me, what I think is the lady has the problem. For starters, like the boundaries you've been setting, I doubt she has set them. She's like, she's the kind who will call and say, oh my God, you do not even come to bring food for your kid. And then the guy is there saying, oh yes, I have a child, she has quarreled, I don't bring food. Let me bring food.
When you bring,
then when you bring, oh my God, which kind of man are you? You've not brought for the rest of my kids.
No winning.
Excuse me. Speaking from the baby daddy side, I do not pay fees for those other
for all of them.
I did not bring them to earth. Why do you even expect me to bring food? Like when you did your quarreling, you didn't say, Yeah, you didn't say bring for my kids. You said bring for your child. I'm so sure. She said bring for your child. And he's here bringing and you're quarreling. That chick is troubled. Even bringing, taking you back to what you said. Why is she coming? Like the baby daddy shouldn't be invited to the home. I'm so sure she's the one inviting. She is the one inviting.
So that's
I'm so sure she's the one inviting that guy.
Yeah, it's a double problem. You can't say when they tell you jump into the toilet, do you go and jump?
That is a home. It's not a toilet.
No,
that is a home.
As an adult, the father also has an equally shared responsibility to know that upon that invitation, he shouldn't come. He should do better and go and maybe pick his child and say, you know what, this might cause some kind of bad dynamic.
I hear
Let me
you.
just come and pick my child.
I hear you. I hear you. And for me, I think where that dynamic comes in, or where the boundary could come in, is if this chick has a man in that home. You get? If that, listen to me. If that chick has a home, a man that she's living with, and they're and the baby, they're co-parenting or something, then I understand. But I doubt she does.
Now let me explain to you
doubt
what
she does.
co-parenting is. You set a rule for whether there is a man or not, because you cannot keep changing boundaries based on your emotional.
Thank you. That is what.
Set one.
Thank you.
Whether there is a man, whether there is no man, because now you're going to start causing some kind of instability.
Exactly.
Okay, now I have a man, so don't come. Now I don't have a man.
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. And because she's the one that has the kids, I doubt she has set those boundaries.
That's why you believe she's
yes,
the wrong person.
yes. I
Clearly
doubt she has
hasn't.
set them.
Yeah.
Clearly
Yeah.
hasn't.
Yes.
And the man is also being there like a child. I feel like we are forgiving the man for behaving like a child. I mean,
I don't see him behaving like no child.
Should be like the mother, like his mother of, excuse me, I've set the boundaries, I've decided, so do as I said. No, as a parent, as a father, if the woman is dictating, you can say, I feel, because men are equally as adult and responsible, and we shouldn't always blame women when things go wrong. And in this scenario, this man should have been adult enough as an equal partner in this co-parenting journey to say, you know what, you have other kids, I only have McDonald's for my child, so, and I know that it is improper for me to bring just one piece of chicken for my kid in exposed with other children. So let me go and take my child to McDonald's.
Yeah.
To eat there. We
Exactly.
talk, we whatever, and then I can bring the child back home.
So it's so funny. I hear where Rosette is coming from. I mean, we only have, 30 seconds to judge her, which is also not correct.
Yeah.
But it was a thing, one, which looks like has been going on for a long time. Like he hadn't yet come out of the house, of the car, and she was like, oh no, Mumani, he's going to come. He has only one car.
No,
meanwhile, she's not also counted. Meanwhile, in this thing, please note, for me, when I kept listening, I was like, but is this chick quarreling for the other kids or for herself?
Or for
Because
herself.
they've not
She
you first leave me. But deep down, you were hungry. I tell you, she's not. So she's like, he's going to come. He has come with one soda and one McDonald's for one child, which is not enough for the people in this family. And I remember there was something interesting that the guy asked her, and he said, where are the fathers of these other kids?
Thanks.
Because I feel that if God, if things were perfect, and you are our friend, you are very perfect. Let me kunyumiza you.
Darling.
No, you are not.
She's
but
not.
you try.
I really try.
You really try.
Given how
So
I see
in
other
a-
people behaving,
You
I know
see
that I try.
She's better.
But I'm
She does
I'm
better.
young. I do better.
She does better.
I try, really.
You guys, we have this inside joke where Pumla, whenever we make a mistake, she just nods her head and says, do better.
Let's do better.
So I think that in theory, it works really well, but for what we've known in terms of the history of, especially when it comes to this thing of co-parenting, where you don't have the principles set out, it can really be difficult. And so for me, you've really taught me a lot about the importance of setting those boundaries. But clearly she didn't set those boundaries, and it doesn't look like she's the kind who, for example, would allow him even to to be apart and say, I'm going to take my child. If she has
Exactly.
refused him to bring one plate of food, she is not going to allow him to take away her child. That one is
Exactly.
not
Do you
going to
know
happen.
That's my problem with scenarios like these ones. And I want to pick up on what Pumla started off by saying. With situations like these, emotions are running high.
Yeah.
And I think it's emotions from like the previous relationship, from the way things ended, from maybe, I don't know, there's
lots of other things.
lots of other things. So they will always co-parent until they come to a place of maturity. They'll always co-parent
Exactly.
with that history and background in mind.
yeah.
So it's even difficult to, and I'm going to say this very carefully, to blame the woman, actually to blame anyone.
Any
I
of
think
them.
they are both equally responsible.
Yes.
And they need to come to a place. The problem with scenarios like this is one person has to be, first of all, they both have to agree, which is very difficult from when you're in a marriage.
I wanted to
Yes.
continue that line. One person has to be
One person has to be, I guess, sensible
very
Yes.
to say
That
this
is
is the
it.
way we are going to do
That
this.
is it.
That
Yes.
is it. Now the problem with that perfect scenario
Yeah.
is that there'll always be a party who is like, I'm not about this
Exactly.
life.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
exactly.
true.
Because it doesn't suit me, because I'm still bitter, because I'm still
Yeah.
angry.
That
I'm
I don't
still
like,
grieving.
I don't want you
Problem.
to tell me what to do, but they forget that there's a child
In
here
this
or
picture,
children, and then they start behaving based on their emotions and immaturity,
Yes.
and then expose the child. And in this case, she exposed the baby daddy.
Daddy.
So for me, that's my issue with this. They are run on emotions, and emotions
Yeah.
are rarely logical.
Yes.
Rarely,
That is it.
That's
rarely
true.
mature.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah,
Grace.
yeah.
And for me, I think, unfortunately, for this entire situation, there were not just two people. There's also the dads of the other
other
kids.
kids. Yeah.
So I feel like when we make this decision to have more than one father in a picture, you're now raising children and you as the mother, you're keeping the kids.
Yeah.
You're no longer about two people.
Yeah.
It's now about you and the father of each child you have in that home. So and if you're running off emotions like you and Pumla have just so nicely said, it's very hard
very
because now
emotional,
you're not
yeah.
only even dealing, all about two people can fail to agree. Now her,
When
who
you're
has-
in love,
when,
remember,
even
when you're
when you're in
you
love,
can fail.
Yeah.
Now
when you're not
you
in
have
love,
now.
and then on top of that, there are other people. You are more than
It's an
two.
extended
You are
family.
like four because the way he was talking, he was like, "Where are the fathers of the other children?" Yeah, he's like, "3 others are not mine." That means there are like 2 more in this relationship. 4 people need to, for lack of a better word, I know how you said one person has to be sensible,
No, one
but I
person's
feel
got to
like
be.
when one person is sensible, the others can jam. Over all the 4 have to be sensible
now let me
because
tell
what?
you, let me tell
How
you.
will it happen?
And this is why people usually blame the woman for this problem. Because, and when I say one person, it usually has to be
The mom.
the woman.
The woman, I agree.
So that's why she was saying
That's
she's
where,
a
yeah,
problem.
no, but that's why I'm saying that. That's why I'm saying because we are fathering that narrative. And absolving the man of responsibility. I'll tell you something. When they did, I saw, actually, when you shared, Rachel Zani shared this video on our Bump Love group, I had seen a different video. And I saw a video where it was the reverse.
Okay.
Where it was the man who had other children and the baby mama is the one who was coming to visit. The comments are entirely different. Extremely. In this video where the man is the one coming, everybody's saying, but at least he's present, he's showing up, he's feeding his children. When it was the woman, I will send you that video and I'll send you the link. Actually, that's why it was when I sent you a message asking you, which one are we looking at?
video, yeah.
Because I had seen the other one first. In the video of the woman bringing everyone
blaming
was
the woman.
blaming the woman. Are you a woman? Are you a mother? How can you bring food for one child? How can't you feed everyone?
Badness.
It is the exact same scenario where when your husband cheats, you as the woman,
You
you
are
should
the
be able to forgive.
But
You
when
know?
it's
But when
vice
it's
versa.
the vice versa, everybody says that, how can you still be with? Then the narrative that is fathered is, but men don't forgive. Not so much so that they're saying, you leave the woman. They just further a narrative. So you when you find yourself coming to a place where I really still want to make this work, but then there is that narrative of men don't forgive. What am I still doing here? The woman cheated on me. She's having an affair. Not that.
Therefore, I
Therefore,
shouldn't be here.
therefore, it's. You guys, I feel like it's such a gender issue, and the biggest problem here, to be honest, and that's why, again, coming down to the conversation of, you know what the problem is going to be as an individual. If you're over the age of 25, Bambi, do better. If you're going to have, if you're going to choose to have
Multiple
children
partners,
with
yes.
other, actually, it's not even choosing. Let me tell you where this starts from. It starts from you opening your legs.
Thank you.
Yeah.
When you every person you bring to your bed or whose bed you go to, regardless of whether you're looking for a child or not, treat it as a potential baby daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether you're using protection or
you're
not.
not.
Because anything can happen. There's no 100% way unless you're abstaining.
Yeah.
So me, I'm all about good time sex before marriage. I'm about that life. But as long as it's safe, yeah? But if you're going to choose and say, I have one baby daddy, and I'll tell you my resolution to keep it that way is affirmed by baby mama drama, baby daddy drama. Because first of all, remember that gender. Already dealing with it as one is a problem. now dealing with that gender 3 times, 2 times of different temperaments, like, no, it's not going to happen.
I have a question for you, Pumla. How often is it that the woman is sensible in scenarios like that? Sensible enough to say, let's sit down and have a conversation. We're not saying, Baba, provide blah, 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 but like provide boundaries. Don't come to my home. I don't want to have another child with you, because you said once it has happened, it could possibly happen again. But how often have you seen that a woman, which is where I think is where Rosette was coming from with that.
It wasn't on gender.
How often do you see a
So
woman?
I can't give you exact statistics, but I'll tell you where it's 100% the time is if it's the woman who chose to leave. When the woman was left, that emotion, it runs over for a very long time, and so sensibility, and then if they left you for another woman, then that's when sensibility kind of is thrown out the window. That's one. Then there's another scenario where if the woman was actually left, and then if I speak to her, like I've spoken to women, they will listen to me. But men don't have anybody to talk to. They don't talk to them.
That's true.
So whereas a woman innately will say, that man, bitchy, he's behaving like that, he's bitchy. I've spoken to many women who come like that.
Yeah.
But by the time they leave, they are trying to do better. You can see the result to do better is there, and you can see them impacting, and they'll keep calling and say, but I did this and he's still stubborn. I say, give it time. I have been on a co-parenting journey for 12 years. 12. But if you see me today, you have no idea what I had to drag through the mud for. Even me here, you see me walking just there in my high heels, but you don't know how low I had to stoop for somebody to wait, like just to get where they are. And then bring them to a level of, you guys, I don't want to punish you. We have the same child, but someone can be stubborn for even 10 years.
Yeah, that's true.
But one day, if you keep consistently your resolve, unless you just married or had sex with a stupid person, which I don't know why you chose to do, but everybody as a human being, they'll reach a point and realize.
But for me, I was reminded of baby daddy that we hosted here, Mackenzie, and he shared his story because he was, same scenario. He said they had gone on and on, until they reached a level of maturity, and they had to sit and resolve. Because as you all said, emotions are running over, like lots of things you put together before this. And sometimes it's not the lady. For me, honestly, the judgment was precisely on the video, because there are times when you agree, guys, that it's the man with the problem, depending on what the guys are doing.
Situation.
It's not that we are pushing that, but there are times when you agree that the woman, you're being the problem, and you need to do better. So for me, honestly, it's not a gender thing. It's just the person.
The individuals. I think it depends on, I guess, different scenarios, and like you've aptly put it, depending on how you separated. I think
that also matters a lot.
Putting that into consideration, and I think just like any other separation, if you want to heal and I guess move on, and if you have a child, that even complicates the issue further. Putting your child first and saying, you know, I've been through a rough period in my life. It's not easy. I guess no breakup is easy, but like having that, you know, when you have a child, sort of matures you. But I feel like in these scenarios, it's like the emotions that are put first before even that child. In fact, the child many times is used as a weapon.
Yes, that's true. So let me share something interesting about my current relationship. Brian and I had this conversation. And we said, okay, so what happens if
You get a child.
things fail? And it's a very difficult conversation to have, but these are conversations that have to be had when things are still kawa, and you're not in the middle of it. And we discussed it, and we discussed not even just the children, even up to things like what happens to our property, what happens to this. We discussed this when we are nice, when we are drinking wine, and we are eating nice food. But we had to have the conversation, because God forbid it can happen. And if it does happen, where me and Brian sit right now, we know exactly what's going to happen. The kids are also mine. No, I said that the kids were mine. I was like, the kids are mine. And he's like, absolutely not. We share these kids. They have our genes. You understand? They have my genes running through them. When you go and you get into another relationship, or I get into another relationship, what's that going to mean for us? But you guys, we talked. It was painful. It was hurtful. But I know now that God forbid anything happen, because we even talked about what if the chick he gets is fake. What if the chick he gets is nice? Which happens. You understand? I'm like, yeah, so how do we know the truth?
And
You know, like,
Manuela, you shared the last time about how when we were sharing our Nova stories, and then Manuela shared that, you know what, for me, I think I'm just selfish. I live, but I never think about living with the children. So that a type of person like Manuela can be able to have a conversation with a type of man like Brian who says, the kids are mine. Now me, I cannot have that conversation. The type of man I can have the man I will make a decision to be with is a type who says, Pumla, I understand that children need to be with their moms primarily. So you will be the primary parent, but I will be present and co-parent. I could never, ever, ever date a man who says the kids are mine.
No, Brian's
for me,
context was
to keep the kids
Kids
there.
are there. He said the kids are
The
there.
last time, remember, you said that Brian says, me, I'm keeping the kids. If you're going, you go.
You go.
Me, I can't leave a house without my kids.
I could.
Because for you can't. That's why you need to be able, like, there is no wrong. There is no wrong. You just have to know, what are my partner's thoughts and what are my true feelings.
It's my true Until we went through that, and we quarreled about it like that. And I was like, Brian, if that chick is fake, why should my children be there? Because me, I also went through that. Meanwhile, please note, a bad mother. She's a bad mother, like, and the kids come and report that she did something fake. I was like, Brian, I will not leave you with the kids. No, Manuela, you let me know. But exactly. But at least now, quote unquote, we've had that conversation. And I think also what helped me is I was raised in that situation. So I know, like, all the scenarios, we brought them out, and you know, you understand. But now he's scared about my man with her daughter, with his daughter. You understand what I exactly? So and we actually bared ourselves and showed that by the time we're done, he was like, you know what? I won't get married. I'll just have a blast. I'll just have a blast.
And let me tell you another thing is, and this is something I don't know if I've shared with you, but I first dated after 7 years of divorce.
After you're married. After your divorce, rather.
Because and that comes back to a sense I had to deprive myself of any scenario where the man became insecure about me getting a man and exposing, having another child maybe, or having, so I literally had to deprive myself, and I only started dating again after my son's dad got married. Intentionally. Don't think I didn't want to be with people. I wanted. It was good. But I had to deprive. And that is the maturity I speak of. I don't know if it's good, to be honest. If someone came to me, I don't think I would tell them to walk the same path, because you're denying yourself 7 years of good time, of happiness, just because you want to keep a certain kind of peace. I knew that I was growing with Teja's dad. We're now becoming civil. We are becoming relatable. We are talking. Then after I bring another man, I destabilize the peace. I said, let me wait. And I reach a point where I'm sure that we are okay. But I then realized in hindsight that okay point would never reach until he himself got into a settled, stable relationship. I was just lucky that the man believes in marriage and really went the full 9 years and remarried. And then since then now, I can do anything. They can't tell me anything now.
So let me ask Pumla. Suppose you said that for you bring your child home. because obviously they have
Yeah.
children.
Yes.
Yeah. So I want to ask what your and
What-
you can
what?
tell me if I am over being intrusive. But like when it comes to the other family, how do
Yeah.
you engage with the other children, or is there absolutely no engagement because the kids know?
Yes.
Like they're like,
I
this
sw-
is
I just
Teja
speak
has
to
a
them on
different
the
mom.
phone.
Okay.
Or if they bring them for, so the space has to be always neutral.
Okay.
Always. They don't come to my house. I don't go
don't
to
go
their
to
house.
theirs, yeah.
The boy goes to school. He has family functions. He has things. Now in boarding school, we divide our time. I go and see him for a certain number of hours in the day. Or that if it's 2 days of VD, I go Saturday, he goes Sunday. If there's going to be a point of interaction, it should be like this. It's never like this. Never. And I can never go and pick my child from his home and leave other children and stay by. It's him who brings.
Yeah.
He drives, comes, drops. I have my good time with my child. We go back to our central meeting point and I drop. So those children have an idea, but they don't see it.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm not putting it in their faces. And when
Until
Teja
they're
goes
ready,
back,
yeah.
I give him things to give his siblings.
Oh yes.
And
So
they
you-
will call and even say, oh, we received. We
And say thank you.
We
Oh,
are what?
Pumla,
We
you
are
are-
this.
you
And
are
for me, I don't see the
sensible.
problem.
So
When I
sensible.
travel and I bring clothes for my son, I've never delivered anything myself.
Auntie, that-
But I know they reach. So I'm like,
But
I'm,
the thing
I'm,
is-
I'm abstract being somewhere of Teja's mom, and nobody in the home ever feels that. So I don't know what they feel, but I try my best to ensure. Like Teja has a phone. I don't let Teja go to the other home with his phone. I don't.
Yeah, because it will bring. amongst
I
children,
discuss
yes.
with the father that, are you okay with this? He says, I don't think it is okay, because for me, I'm not going to give these children phones before this age. So I say, I'm sorry, son. I can't assist you.
But at least you see the thing that you've been doing is you're abstract, and also when your presence is felt.
My presence is
Your
felt,
because
but
when
abstractly.
when clothes
Abstractly.
come, they come
There's
for
something,
there's
yeah,
some
here
for,
we have
there's some for
distributed.
everybody.
If it's
What
not-
happens in instances?
But also what helps is having, and I think I've said this before, the other woman in the other home, also you just have to pray. That
Yeah.
she's also at a certain level
In her
of
life.
maturity. So you'll be lucky. And me, I was blessed. It's something that I will say every day, that I was blessed, that even when Teja used to come home and judge me that Kebbi, that they are this, they are that, I knew I could see, and I would ask, what exactly is being done to you? And then he'll say,
ask
"Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah."
questions.
And then I would realize that he was just being a child.
Yeah.
And he would make, if I still had those emotions running, I would always call the dad and say, excuse me, I don't know what your woman is doing to my child.
Emotions,
It's that emotional thing,
Hmm.
but then you decide, let me put these emotions at bay, and I'll tell him, what? Then he says, no, they want to give, I don't eat this, I don't eat that. Teja is an only child. His mother spent a part of her life trying to make up for the fact that the home was breaking. So he was exposed to certain things, a lifestyle, which is not getting the other side. So he feels that that's now a bad place
Because
Just because he
just
didn't get
because
that
he's
same-
not getting the exact same things that he used to get. And as soon as you understand that and align that, then you co-parent better.
Better.
You need to be,
That
you tell your little
my
child that,
goodness.
excuse me, you go eat that portion they are giving you. You won't
Yes.
die. Those
Yeah.
beans, you go and learn.
Yeah.
Don't come back telling, and the phone calls stopped.
Yeah.
The complaints stop. They
Yeah.
dwindle away. And even the when you interact with the other woman, you will see that somebody actually, I love
Is
that child,
trying,
yes.
yes.
But you can see that if I, as Pumla, I made things difficult for her, then that things could go the other
Wow,
way.
I like that angle.
Yeah.
I like
Things
you
will go the
thinking
other
like
way.
that. Yeah.
So you as the person, you come, you try, you do better.
If you are the baby mama.
If you're the baby mama, you guys, but
Please,
baby
be
mama,
better.
do better.
Be
That's the truth. Do better. You're the ones who dictate how these co-parenting relationships go.
Happen.
That's
I
the
love
real
that. I
problem.
love that.
So
I
if you
agree.
can be a bit more mature, those emotions, we understand them, we get them. Me, I would go back to my home and I cry. And the weight of trying to be better for everybody is so bad. Like carrying that burden, and I was in my 20s, people are doing this at 30, 40, when they're older and actually more mature. But I was in my 20s, like young 20s, and I'm carrying this burden. I would go back to my bed and I would cry from there. Like, I'm like, Vanage, what the hell is this? What is, go back out, put on a face, put on my coat, jacket, go to work. Yeah, make phone calls. Are you okay? Is everything fine? Then I hear, I'm here with Auntie Gunzi. Auntie what? Then things even turn. Oh, mom, I'm the what? I'm the page boy at the wedding. Like, Hapana, what is this? So like but then you know that Pumla, you had your time.
Yeah.
For a child to call that woman mom,
She
she must be
really
doing
good.
something
Yeah.
right.
Good, yeah.
She must be a good person.
Yeah.
So you just forget, them tell you people are good, and your man, if he chose you, he's most likely going to choose someone
Someone who's
almost
similar
like
to
you.
you, yes,
So if you're going to have problems with the other woman, check yourself also. Check
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah.
If you can decide as adults, and let me tell you, by the way, women, this conversation, and that's why they usually blame women, because women are the ones who can have these conversations.
Yes.
It took us a long, I had these types of conversation, let me be honest, more with the other mother than with. And I saw there were some points where this man sometimes wanted us to be disunited.
Yeah.
And would create there were scenarios where, and if I fell for those scenarios,
Then there would be
there'll be discord. Yeah.
Exactly.
And luckily though, in this place, I think I just reached a point of, I love my son and I don't want to parent him alone. I don't want to be a single parent. I've never wanted to be a single parent. So I will do whatever it takes to ensure that this child's father stays in his life.
Wow.
Bury
That
your
is
emotions,
it. So
your
just,
feelings,
just
you
bury
bury
your
your
emotions,
emotions. It
your
takes a lot of
feelings.
maturity.
Takes a lot of
Yeah, but if I could do it at 23, why are 35, 40-year-old women failing to do the same thing?
Yeah.
They did
Yeah.
build capacity, and we're different.
And not to
Yeah.
say that it's easy.
It's not easy.
It's easy. It takes a lot.
It's
It
tough.
takes a lot. It's so
Should
tough.
be tough.
It's so tough. It's
Even
so
for that
hard.
baby mama, you could tell that she's
you hear
going
her.
through pain. You hear her pain.
Yeah, and that's why when I was reading through those comments, I was like, these guys have no idea. It's pain. She's behaving badly, and I'm not saying that she's not behaving badly. Me, I thought both of them were behaving badly, but for it to be always geared to the
You
woman,
could tell that she's going
yet
through
the
a lot.
pain. It's so
Also, when you've
painful.
never been through a scenario, it's very easy for you to judge.
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah,
It
that's
is.
also true.
It
So,
is.
oh wow, calm down. That was that was really that was really
Baby mama
heated
drama,
up. But
gosh.
what we're learning from this situation is, one, emotions are real and they're raw, and depending on how things have gone on between you two, it can be really hard. But one of you has to be mature, and unfortunately that usually falls on the woman. But we want to ask the men to step up. Step up, be mature, do the right thing, have discussions. If not with your person, have discussions with yourself to be able to be better. In the words of Pumla, just be better. And over to you, the baby mamas. Like Pumla has so rightly said, not everyone is bad. Most times your children will be treated a certain way, also based on how you treat the entire situation. So also you, baby mama, be better. But also you now, the muchala were there. The muchala of the home. Of the time.
Today is the
Tomorrow someone else. So the mucharo of that time. Also you, we want to request you. Also you, be better. Let's all be better. Let's all be better. But Rachel has said it. Be careful when you're opening up your legs. But in general, let's be better. Let's be better. Until next time, with love from Bump Love.